What's really important is you took the first step in deciding to do this, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't do at all. How's it going? I'm glad you clicked on the video. My name's Sean. I'm a full-time clothing eBay reseller. In today's video, I want to go back to basics. I want to talk about how to really start as a new eBay reseller. I wanted to answer some of these questions in this video because I have a lot of commenters from first-time sellers, people that are day one, week one, maybe month one, and they're not really sure what to do. Now, I've been selling for about 5 years and I'm a little bit more advanced than most people. It's kind of hard for me to remember what it was like whenever you first start selling. But if you are trying to make money on the side, if you're trying to do this for a business, these are like the basics you need to know to kind of get started. First things first, you need to understand like a reason for selling. You have to have some type of drives because there's going to be a lot of hurdles and things that you don't really like. So like pick your drive, whether it's vacation money, more money just for your monthly budget to pay bills, or you want to create like a massive business. Number 2, set up the eBay page. Now, I'm not going to go step by step on how to set up the page because it's probably a little bit different. I do know you have to show like your driver's license and get it scanned in. One thing I would say, it's not very hard to do, but if you would set a separate bank account, I think that's very important for eBay so that you can separate the funds from your personal funds. That just kind of gives you a nice log and shows you like the money in and out from that account. I would also recommend getting a separate credit card for eBay if you're going to be shopping at thrift stores, but you don't necessarily need a credit card. You could just put $100 into that fund if you want to go that route, but I do recommend getting like a separate bank account. And also you don't necessarily need like that $100 to start, and I'm going to explain why you don't necessarily need that money. You can make money in the very first few hours of selling on eBay. And the reason I want to say you don't have to start with any money is because you can sell things that you already own. Selling things you already own is one of the most valuable things you can do. And I say that because once you learn how to sell online, anything that you buy, you can just sell. So if you buy something retail price for $100 and it's a good quality item, you can always sell it used for probably 50% to 75% of the cost. You're getting a discount on everything you own because you can sell what you own. The very first thing that I sold was a pair of Oakley's hard shell, like the case. It wasn't even the sunglasses. The case was something that I wasn't using. I was like, I wonder how much this thing sells for, because if I was going to sell it at a garage sale, I'd probably sell it for $1. I decided to look that case up on eBay, and it was selling for between like $10 and $15. It was the black hard shell case. Luckily, I had like a mentor I could call and talk to about like what to price it at and like how to even set up everything. And he said that I needed to list it at $9.99 with free shipping. And I was like, $9.99 free shipping, that's not going to make me any money. And he said, no, after you ship it, you'll make about half of that. And this is back when shipping was a little cheaper. So what I did was I set up the sunglass case like just on a table. I took maybe 7 or 8 photos. I kind of took like photos that weren't necessarily. I took like the front, the sides, the back, upside down, like inside it, right up on the zipper, things like that. And I did not have a photo set up. I didn't have any lights set up. I just took it on the table and I listed it at $9.99. So you can do the same thing, find something around your house and list it. Now, before I listed it, I was nervous about shipping. I did not know what to do for shipping that item. So I asked my friend. He said, look, you ship it in anything like a manila envelope, something you have around the house, just anything. And notice that item will not break. Like I did not start with a coffee cup or a lamp or anything huge or fragile or complicated. I started with something small, and I started with something under 1 pound. I think that's an important, safe bet to start with because the item is going to ship for, nowadays less than $7, but before it was like less than $5. So you kind of have an idea of like, okay, this is less than 12 ounces. It's going to be fairly cheap. So I decided to kind of have it pre-packed in my mind before listing it because I wanted to make sure that I got it to the customer. I was very nervous that the item wouldn't make it there. So, find items around the house, take just decent photos. You do not need a $100 or $1,000 light setup. You just need decent photos and get it posted. Now, some people ask, how would you even title items? So for that one, I typed in Oakley hard shell case on eBay and I looked it up. Well, I saw other listings with the exact same item and I learned that that's the clamp shell case. So I was like, oh, clamp shell seems to be like what it's actually called. So that's probably a good idea to use that title. Now, you can copy that exact listing from somebody else by clicking the sell similar button on the other person's listing, or sell one like this, I think is what they call it, or sell now. There's a couple different buttons in different spots. Essentially, it'll bring up that listing and you could just copy it. Now, I would recommend trying to build your own listing by itself, but have another tab open with their listing and just like take bits and pieces of it, because those listings aren't necessarily correct all the time. Like if you copy my listings, they're probably going to be pretty good, but some other people's, they kind of just, halfway do it. You really want to understand what each button in the listing is for and like why it's there. So I'm in the camp of less is more. So when it comes to the listing, I only put what I think is very necessary. There's obviously the recommended item specifics, but then there's other random ones that I just don't put in. I don't think it's necessary. I think price, pictures, and then the title of what it is are the most important thing when it comes to listing and selling an item on eBay. Find decent items, decent photos, how to list. Like I said, you can reference somebody else's, make your listing, and then when it comes to shipping, you have to decide what the shipping needs to be. Now, for the first probably like 6 months to a year, I did free shipping and I did 1-day handling. And people are going to go for it. Like you're pretty much fishing out there in the ocean with a bunch of other people that are fishing too. So that hard shell case was probably closer to like $14. I had mine priced at $9.99 free shipping, and it was 1-day handling. When I had that listed, I finally clicked list. In 2 hours, somebody sent an offer of $9. And I was kind of like, $9? Why didn't he just pay the $9.99? And I almost declined it. But then I thought, $9, the label, I think at that time was like $3.50. And then the fees, which I didn't even know what the fees are. So I was kind of like, I think that's enough to get the sale and to ship it, and then hopefully like see the whole process get completed. So I accepted the offer, $9, and I ended up making $4 and I think some change. And as you can see back here over my shoulder, that bigger label, that's the guy who bought that. He bought that Oakley hard shell case. His name's Luis. I don't know anything else about him other than I guess his address, but he was the first sale that I made. It was tremendous. I was overwhelmed with joy, but I was like, okay, that was easy. Like, let's try this again. Most people, when they start selling on eBay, they sell everything. It's very common. It's like you don't know what to sell, so you just pick what you think can sell. And a lot of people sell their own stuff because, those Oakleys in the hard shell case, like, I think those cases brand new might be $20 or $25. I sold mine for $9 free shipping as a used case, which it was in perfect condition. Yeah, that's not like you're not making a whole lot of money because you already spent the money on those products, but you did complete a sale on eBay, and congratulations, like you're now an eBay seller. Hopefully that buyer sends you positive feedback. I also had some questions about, well, how do you get positive feedback? You can get it from selling items and then the buyer leaving a positive feedback on your page, or you can buy something from, a seller, usually a big seller, and they have automatic feedback. Like if you buy a shirt from my store, it automatically gives you a feedback saying like, appreciate your purchase, come on back. What I did in the very beginning, which I think a lot of people do, but a lot of people also don't do, is I put thank you cards. I would handwrite them at first, and then eventually I would print them, and I would put right on it. I'd say, please leave positive feedback. And that worked. I absolutely got that to work. And then if you really want to get granular with it, after the sale's done and say after a month they didn't leave any feedback, you can email that buyer. You can email them and say, hey, I hope you enjoyed your item. Please leave positive feedback. Again, like I left you positive feedback and you leave me positive feedback. Once you get over about 50 to 100 positive feedbacks, you really stop getting a lot of the scammers, because there'll be a lot of scammers that attack your listings, especially if you have high dollar electronics. You'll get a lot of scammers trying to like cheat you out of that. So I would suggest trying to find things around the house, $10 to $20, things that are lightweight, easy to ship, and try to sell them, see what you can do. Also think about how it's going to be packed. You can pack things in boxes. I know a lot of you guys buy on Amazon. Save those boxes. I could have put that hard shell case in a 4x6x4 box or whatever. That would have been fine. It's not like the easiest thing to pack, but it's pretty easy and it's safe and it's going to get there. So after that, you have now sold an item. The return policy, if you guys are interested in returns, the best policy you can have is the most lenient policy, 60-day free returns. Usually if somebody buys the item within the first day that they get the item, they're going to return it, or they're going to be the kind that waits till day 59 to return it. Now, I've only had a handful of people wait that long to return an item, but most people return it right away, and a lot of times it's because you did not display the item correctly. You missed a flaw on it. Maybe the zipper was broke on that Oakley case and I didn't know it. It would get returned. Or if you're selling clothes like I do, you're going to get a lot of returns just because people don't people don't really understand their size. So there's going to be a lot of returns based on not fitting, or that's just kind of how that goes. So returns are a thing, but as a new seller, look for things that are, maybe it's not very likely it will be returned. Like say I have like this used Sharpie. Maybe you could sell this for 99 cents. I don't know. Probably not, but things like that, that's something you can sell, and just try to understand, like, you want to learn how to ship item stuff. Like, don't sell the 99-cent marker, but like, I don't know, like this. I bought a 6-pack of oil filters for my Honda Civic, and then I stopped changing the oil myself because it was a pain in the neck. Now, the 6-pack for that was like $50, and I can sell that by itself for $10 if I wanted to. I mean, I'm sure I could. That would be something, fairly easy to ship and sell, and no one's going to return that, right? Like, that's going to be, it's a brand new item and people are going to just use it. So that's one way to look at it. Now, another thing that I did, which you guys are doing right now, is you watch YouTube videos. I watched hundreds and thousands of hours of YouTube content. Like, I found sellers that did really well. I found some that I liked their personality. I like how they sounded on the camera, what they were selling. I've noticed I found some of those items around at garage sales or thrift stores. Like, those are all things that I was looking for whenever I first started. And, I looked up a ton of how-to videos. I was trying to figure out how to do this. It was 2019. There wasn't like the vast number of content creators that there are now. And there wasn't a whole lot of like proven methods on how to do this extremely well. So it was actually a pretty cool time to be doing it. But then again, like, I wish I would have like started 10 years before 2019. That would have been awesome. I definitely would be like way more successful than I am now. So in addition to that, maybe shipping items is a problem. So like I have, like a thermal label printer. I'm sure if you're doing this for the first time, you don't have any type of printer. Maybe you have a printer. If you do, you can print the label and cut it out and tape it. I did that for many months. If you don't have a printer at all, you can handwrite the label and then go to the post office and then buy the label. Those are the basic building blocks of selling an item on eBay. I know it's, not like, I don't know, like if you have questions, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments of like, oh, well, what about this? Or you left this out, because I'm sure I did leave something out. But think about it like this too. I sold $100,000 one year, and all I had was like these white tiles for photos. I had this iPad mini 2 for taking photos. This is only 2 megapixels. So your camera you have now has a better camera than that iPad. I had like little tiles or whatever. It wasn't a fancy setup. It wasn't a flat lay. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, a little setup with some white. I think I had like computer paper for the background. And yeah, that sold over $100,000. So you don't need a fancy setup. You just need items that sell. You can find it around your house. You can watch YouTube videos. You can search the item on eBay, filter to solds, see what the item's value is, and then try to see if there's a smaller amount listed on eBay. When you search the Oakley hardshell case, hopefully there's like 100, but when you go to solds, hopefully there's more than 100. Or if there is exactly 100, you could still sell. And then if you price yours lower than everybody else's, I really suggest doing that. People talk about undercutting the market and they have a problem with it. If you're new to selling and you want to get something to move in the first couple hours, price it very low. Now, it can't be an item that nobody wants, like a George shirt from Walmart or something. Like, no one's going to pay 99 cents for that item. Like, you're going to want to get something that has some value, some demand, and then you want to undercut it by, I would say, like $5 to $10. I mean, somebody has to trust you as a new account with zero feedback to buy it. And the only way they're going to trust it is if the deal is so good that they're like, well, whatever, this hardshell case is $9 free shipping. Like, how can they mess that up? And the only way you can really mess it up is if you don't ship it on time, if you don't ship it at all. I think what's really important is you took the first step in deciding to do this, and that's one thing that a lot of people don't do at all. Hopefully this video helps you along the way. And like I said, if you do need some more help, just reach out on the comment section, or you can hit me up on Instagram or my Facebook business page, Taylor Exchange. Yeah, hopefully, you can sell some items, because once you get into it, it's a lot of fun. It's super competitive if you want to do it at a high level, but there's plenty of room to make hundreds, thousands of dollars a month and really change your life. It's absolutely life-changing money. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.